And the thing about the internet is it attracts a lot of people that never pay for
this platform could blow up even further than it's at right now. It could have the viral growth like TikTok.
Don't you think he could have bloody designed that with a tenth of the price? Will it be successful? No idea. Does it make sense to me? Not at all. But nor does anything else that he does. Everybody loves it until they've got to pay.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Clarity with Sims Media. This one's interesting because Elon Musk is a very out there character that everyone has pros and cons for. And in our rating of personal brands, does a very good job of that because he's got people who love him and people who hate him. But he's taken on Twitter, and there have been some conversations and discussions around the features that are changing and the way Twitter's changing, and then predictions of whether it's going to go uphill or downhill. And I think that from our perspective of how we actually see social media as the tool and how it contributes to building your brand, we've got some slightly different perspective. And I think we can pull together both of these sides of what people are talking about on Twitter and kind of just bring a bigger picture perspective as to what you actually need to pay attention to and the hate and whatnot out there that you don't need to pay attention to.
I think that's a good point. And sorry to jump in there, but everyone's out there kind of moaning, oh, Twitter this, social this. You've got to focus for a start. Does it matter to you? Okay. It's no good that this is the worst thing that's ever happened if it's not relevant to you. So as Henry just said, quite eloquently, and I want to highlight it, it's a tool. That is what social platforms are for influencers, for owner brands, for businesses, small and large. It's a tool. It's a vehicle for you to distribute your message, get clarity in what it is you have to offer, and to find the people that have that problem that you can then sell them the solution. So it's a vehicle. It's a tool. If you're not in business, if you don't need it and you just want to post up pictures of your cat, then any of what we're about to talk to is completely irrelevant. Okay, so we're focusing on it quite simply in how does it move the needle, or is there a problem with that needle? Now, we saw a little while ago when Apple turned around and said, right, we're going to stop you being able to track and pixel the websites. All right. And everyone threw their hands up in the air and was like, oh, no, that's terrible. And I remember a good friend of ours going, well, hang on a minute. Who's controlling that bottleneck now? And of course, it's Apple. Apple's getting all of this knowledge of you going, right, I don't want anyone to be able to pixel me while I'm looking at sneakers. And Apple's going, okay, we'll stop that. But Apple's getting all of that data.
Yeah.
So don't be an idiot. The bottom line of it is, and we all know this statement, and it's boring and it's old and it's a cliche, but if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. And in the world of social platforms, no one's paying for Facebook. No one's paying for Twitter. No one's paying for any of these things. So every time someone goes, oh, we're going to make it better for you, they're just claiming you. So you've been claimed by Apple. Now we've got Elon's gone in. And let's be blunt, 90% of the planet have no idea what he's doing. Okay. And we sit here and he's firing this person and he's, making you pay for blue check marks and that's going wrong. So we're getting rid of that and we're removing review that he had on there. And all of these things are happening. We don't know what's going on. But if it's not relevant to you, stop worrying about it. So now that you've got it reframed that, hey, social networks are a tool, what's happening that affects me, now we can actually move with impact. Please continue.
Yeah. And on that note of not knowing what's going on, we don't have to. And really, no one ever will unless you're on the inside actually making the changes to the platform. So take that stress off of your plate of trying to figure out exactly how these platforms work and where they're going. It is this tool for you to gain visibility, to get an audience, and to create that connection with them. So for the sake of Twitter, the benefit that we can look at possibly right now is, yeah, maybe it could go downhill, as some people are saying, but if it's going uphill and if it's going to become a lot more popular and there's going to be the opportunity to reach more people, then you should pay attention to it. And that's all that we're trying to say from a very basic standpoint is this platform could blow up even further than it's at right now. It could have the viral growth like TikTok, or you could get the reach like you've got with YouTube Shorts. So just get on that platform if you're not already on there and just pay attention. See where things are going so that as a brand, you can capitalize on it and ride that wave if it does start to go up from where it's at right now. So that's the first basic line in the sand is we don't know where platforms truly are going. That's to be decided by the people who run them and build them. But as a brand, play on all of the platforms and then ride the waves of those that just shoot up and give you the reach that you need to build your brand.
That's on the note about social platforms being very volatile, moving, completely morphing, and constantly undulating and changing. If they didn't, we'd all be sitting there still with a MySpace and Friendster account.
Yeah.
So everything changes. Facebook started off as a college pickup site and is now the largest business directory in the planet. Elon sees something in Twitter. Is he right? Is he wrong? Again, how much is it costing you? Mm-hmm. You know, unless you've bought shares in Twitter and you're shitting yourself that he's going to tank it, don't worry about it. Just be on it because you can easily go, delete and get off. You can easily do that. But for you to ignore it, that's often more costly than the other.
Yeah. And funny side note, I did buy shares in Twitter when there was the talk of, will Elon buy this? And I was like, well, it's dipped now, so I'm going to buy it because if Elon gets into it and all this hype goes around it and the stock goes up and we get bought out and it goes back to a private company, then I'll have made money. So I actually did make a bit of money because he bought all the shares out at a higher price than what I bought them in at.
I want to actually just highlight someone, and I'm not going to pull that comment up online because it's got that face on there, and I don't want to draw any attention. But someone actually just said Elon should stick with cars and populating the moon. Okay. Now that's a funny statement, but and I, okay, that's cool. But how much did he get when he entered into the automotive industry? How much did he get when he actually moved into the space industry? The bottom line of it is this guy is got a target on his back in every single industry. Solar panels, tunnels, even bloody flamethrowers. Anything he touches, he gets thrown at him. Personally, the fact that he's doing something that other people don't understand is nothing different to anything he's ever done before. He was unqualified in every single industry he's gone in. I think this is the moment where we go, we didn't know what he was going to do to that, but he ended up dominating it. Let's just see. So let's kind of cut the guy a little bit of slack and see whether he does it. Now, here's the downside about society. If this thing tanks, if Twitter goes in the toilet and ends up standing next to MySpace and Friendster on the basically the shelf of shame, everyone's going to jump on him. Everyone's going to annihilate him. Everyone's going to go, what a moron, and forget the other industries that we're in. That's the social dynamic that we're in today. We actually want to point and laugh and jeer at someone. And if he loses billions of dollars, we actually want to throw a parade and rejoice at this when we really shouldn't. Someone's disrupting an industry. He didn't agree with it, and he's jumped in, and he's put his money where his mouth is and his time and energy where his mouth is. Will it be successful? No idea. Does it make sense to me? Not at all. But nor does anything else that he does. And he seems to dominate that. So before we start getting out the bunting and the little poppers, let's just see where this goes. But you've got to be part of it in order to be able to profit. If you're not, then, judge it from your armchair and lose out later.
Yeah. All of these platforms, and we keep saying, like, we don't know what changes are going to happen. So we just need to be flexible. And as entrepreneurs in general, that's what we do, is just analyze what's in front of us and then capitalize on what we can. So whatever changes come, then we can make use of them. There's been plenty of changes to other platforms that people have disliked on their favorite platforms and have just like changed everything up. When Reels came into place, people were super frustrated that Reels was getting so much attention when they loved posting images as their main content. And so you just have to keep watching and play with what you've got. So I think it's exciting to see Elon come into Twitter, because I feel like he's got a very different, like you said, he's a disruptor in all of his industries. So coming into this social media world, I think it'll be interesting to see how he aims to disrupt it and how he aims to make it a profitable company. One of the elements that he has touched on that I've found interesting is the statement of having this paid verification on the platform. And there's been like this superficial understanding that people have been throwing a fit about, of like, I don't like two things. One, I don't want to pay to have a verification check mark. People do that already. They just pay a hell of a lot more on most of the platforms to get it. So it's not terrible. Like, people are still buying check marks on the other platforms. But then also the thought of not wanting to pay to use the platforms. And I actually, like, we already see that on certain platforms. LinkedIn has a paid premium account for using LinkedIn. What comes with it is better tools for you as a business, as a content creator, to make more use of the platform. So with Twitter, if this premium feature of having a paid account allows you to verify yourself so that people know you're not a bot or a spam account, but also gives you more tools to put out more content, get more reach, and benefit more from the platform, that's very valuable, especially at this claim of like $16 to $12 a month or something. That is really low cost for a channel for you to put out as much content as you possibly want all the time to reach your possible audience. So when you start putting it into perspective of like, would I pay $8 a month to be able to put out tons of content and possibly connect with my ideal clients? It's a very low price to pay.
It's a very low price to pay. And also, you've got to think of the habits. One of the things that we constantly go through is understand the temperature of the room. What are the habits being formed in the room? What are the conversations being had in the room? We have seen over the last year TV dying. Mm-hmm. Everyone is moving to the premium subscription channels, and we saw it flood. You went from DirecTV, Uverse, which was the ATT version, all of these that housed all of the TV stations, and then all of a sudden, where you can buy HBO on its own, you can buy Paramount on its own, you can buy Fox on its own, you can buy Hulu on its own. And I remember when that first happened, I was like, oh my God, I don't want all these subscription services. But I have no adverts. I can watch the shit when I like. Now the idea of me actually going through a TV channel, and you always see these when you're in a hotel, never use them because they are aggravating. And we're in that kind of situation. So with the social feeds, and there's a couple of things here, and I'm trying to get it into my head to say it properly so I don't offend people. And yes, I'm actually concerned about offending people today. The situation is that we don't want adverts, and we want avatars. We want people that are actually not only wanting our solution, let's get ready for the next bit, but can afford our solution. And the thing about the internet is it attracts a lot of people that never pay for. Everybody loves it until they've got to pay. And if you are now operating on a subscription model where people are going, well, hang on a minute, I want to get this. I want to be part of it. You've got more of an engaged community. We've got the Speakeasy community and we've got the Sims Distillery community, and they're far more active than the people that every now and then go, just good job. Totally agree. Well, do you want to take it further? Oh, I don't know about that. And you get away from that kind of thing. So as a business owner, and we know this, we actually were talking about some people yesterday, won't name names, they know who they are. They've got thousands upon millions of followers, and no one's buying. Well, business 101. If you've got a product and you've got someone buying it, you've got a business. But without this one over here, you've got a bankruptcy. So I think all of the tools that are being created are taking us on this gentle, but I foresee this move into a paid subscription model. Okay. And if you don't think people will pay for content, have you heard of a company called OnlyFans? You know, it's not old porn. So, you know, you've got a lot of people now that do want to, because we're being trained. All of the TV subscriptions, even radio, Spotify, we are used to paid subscriptions now. YouTube, I'm going to scream it out. Freaking hate YouTube now. Every 3 seconds, another bloody advert pops up. And so what do we do to get rid of it? We have to get the premium subscription model that kicks all those adverts out. So all the people out there, it's really hard for them to advertise. But when you're paying for a subscription model, they're much more engaged. I would not be surprised if Twitter and social platforms start moving more and more and more into an upgraded subscription model to attract and provide better tooling. Yeah.
And we had a question as well. And it says, could Twitter be streaming services coming up like Amazon, YouTube, and Disney already do? And I don't think there's really anything that's far-fetched on where Twitter could go, because any of the interviews that I've seen from Elon talking about Twitter, he talks about it a lot from a business standpoint and a connection outlet. And so he talks a lot about WeChat, which is, as he says, basically this app within China that people live off of, because you can buy things, you can message people, you can post content, like you can do so many things off of this single platform. And so for him, he's said about this multiple times. So it could be that direction where he is looking at creating this app that becomes a hub for a lot of things and becomes the hub for you to connect and to find things and purchase things. So I don't think it would be out of the realm of possibility to have streaming services through Twitter as well, because it is a media platform. So they're just taking us, the product of the platform, and getting eyeballs onto any of the content creators. So if they want to have streaming services to keep more people on the platform, then I think it's very possible.
We've always said that the one thing every business needs is not pretty advertising, it needs a community. Okay. Mm-hmm. You need a brand and you need a community. If you've got a brand and a following, then what do? You reach out to your following and you go, what do you want? And if they turn around and they go, well, every Twitter account, we want to get a pair of blue shoes. Great. You know, they know what to supply them. Elon didn't buy a platform. He bought a community. Okay. He bought a large group of people that, let's be blunt, Twitter is probably the most vocal, noisy group out there. Okay. Yeah. And it's predominantly text. You know, they use text way more than they do pictures and any other kind of videos. And it's also constricted. They've only just increased over the past years the character allowance in what you can actually write. So it was always very noisy, very short, and very text. And so he's got this very raw, energized, engaged community that he's gone and got. He's going to use that community to pepper out and go, what do you look for? You want streaming? Let's do a subscription streaming service. You want, and another very successful one for Facebook, Marketplace. Mm-hmm. Okay? Oh, you want to be able to have localized communities for events and for selling shit? Great. We'll set up a marketplace equivalent. He's got all of that because he didn't buy a platform. If he wanted the platform, if he wanted the technology, don't you think he could have bloody designed that with a tenth of the price? He bought a database. He bought a large community of people. That's what he got. Now what he's doing is he's poking the bear to find out what they want. And Aaron, quite openly, if they want streaming services, that's what he's going to do.
Yeah. And also, I think the last point before we forget about this thought of paying for platforms that I like is if we start turning to paying for these platforms, that's where the platform becomes the product and not us. And so what Elon has talked about a couple times is if we pay, then it can also contribute to the revenue that they've got for monetization opportunities for the creators of those platforms. Because YouTube has a great monetization cycle in which content creators make content, people watch it, and they get paid for that. And so that rewards creators, which keeps eyeballs on the platform, which keeps YouTube alive and advertisers paying them and whatever. They've got that audience sticking to it. So with Twitter, if we start paying for this and then we have more revenue opportunity to reward creators and give them better monetization opportunities, then it's going to solidify the hub and audience on Twitter, which will keep it going and strengthen it even further. So the paid could be good for getting rid of ads, like you've said, or reducing ads, but also rewarding content creators with monetization opportunities, and also possibly giving content creators more tools to make better content or make content easier on a particular platform. So
as a branding agency, I'm all for the paid subscription model, you know, because it allows us more. When you're not paying Twitter and you're not paying Facebook and you want them to answer a question, you may as well wait for the pair of us to grow a full head of hair. You know, we love the platforms. They are great for business. But again, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. But if we're paying for a subscription, we go, hey, I need the stats on this. I need a better reach on this. You get better. So, you know, we're really cool like that. So I'm really good in that section. I know we only do these for 20 minutes and we've gone over, but I want to finish off with Chris's question. What do you think about the meta and the metaverse? No idea. Okay, that's the technical answer. No idea. Why? Because it's not been refined. You know, they've come up with this idea. We know the Web 3 is going to be out there. We know we can see what happened to Web 2, Web 1, how it all changed. Web 3 is going to actually get us more ingrained and entrenched into a virtual world. We've seen that with NFTs already. So I don't know, but I'm ready. Now, I want to end with this. There's a friend of ours that died but will never leave us, Dr. Sean Stevenson. And he always said, was this done to me or was it done for me? Too many people are moaning that every change is done to them. If you just adapt your mindset to ask, was it done for you? You open up with an accepting, opportunitizing mindset, and then you can start seeing that silver lining. I don't know, Chris, but I guarantee you when we start getting a little bit more focused and it becomes a little bit more defined as what the new meta and metaverse is actually going to do and provide us capability of, guarantee you it'll be a subject that we'll be talking about.
Yeah. Just to summarize that, and the final point that I would like to leave everyone with is that think about how you create opportunity out of all these platforms. They're simply places for you to gain attention. So how do you utilize them to build up your brand and build up your audience? They're all going to change. There's going to be more platforms coming up. There's going to be more platforms closing down. So just keep your eyes open. Be open to trying them, grabbing your accounts on all of them so that you claim your own digital real estate on them, and then just use them. Try and get the eyeballs, because that's all it is. It doesn't matter really the particular platform, but just look at these platforms as the tools that they are for you to get the eyeballs on your business and brand.
Well said. All right. Until next time, we bid you to actually do something with impact. Keep your mind open for opportunities, create impact. And I will add with this, try and support other people. At this moment in time, Christmas can be a very, very lonely time. We heard the news today of a gentleman that we thought had everything going for him on TV. At the age of 40, committed suicide. Today is a very stressful time, and I urge you, let's not be the people that mock and jeer. Let's be the people that support and actually reach out to people and go, hey, how are you? And actually answer the question and expect an answer. And if you don't get an answer, ask it again. Support each other, all right? Entrepreneurism can sometimes be a very, very lonely world because we're the weird kids from Hogwarts. So reach out to all of those people out there, support each other, ask how you can help with meaning and intent. Till next week.